good as well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today. I always love that. Welcome to today. We are here to learn about, I don't know if that's the words that I'm after. We're here to go through this amazing event, which is called Scale Summit, how to hit 50+K months working 50% less. All right. Now, this is an interesting one because I know that we're probably going to have a lot of people that are watching this, that are maybe 20K a month and above already, or around the 20K mark. And we may have some people here that are, looking forward to hitting 10K, looking forward to hitting 20K, and beyond. All right. So what's super amazing about the different information that you're going to learn today, all right, regardless of where your kind of current, income is at, is that this sort of product suite business model, these ideas actually work like across the board. I'm giving you like 7-figure business strategies that you're able to take, what makes sense, what's the next piece, all that sort of stuff, and make your own regardless of where your income level is at right now, okay? Because if you're at about 20K already, let's say you're there, there are some amazing things that you're already doing right, but we want to make sure that we can safely and easily, without having to, hustle more, get you to those higher dollars. Now, if you're kind of in that 10 to 20K mark or around the 10K mark or something like that, again, you're learning bigger business strategies that the sooner you can actually kind of implement some of those, Ivy, delete the bottom half of that because that's not relevant today. I don't know if you can recall that message. If you can't, everyone ignore what's going on in the message box right now. You're going to be able to take pieces of this and implement it into your business. And we're going to, talk about that across time and space. So what actual Ivy, not the, we've had some glitches here today, you guys, everyone's named Ivy today, apparently, which is fun. What actual Ivy is just put into the chat box is the first link is just a little bit of a workbook that you should get kind of there's 2 worksheets. So for anyone who's here now, you're able to go click that link to the Google Drive. All right. If you're watching this back, we'll have sent it to you anyway. All righty. Just with the first link. The second piece is actually not relevant today. We're not asking you any questions, so that's fine. All right, let's jump in. So my desire for you today, oh my gosh, God, don't you love imperfect business? That's so funny. My desires for you today are these 3 things, a whole bunch of question mark in there, apparently. Solve 3 big mistakes. All right. Leave you with a 7-figure business model, a multi-6-figure business model, a 6-figure business model. It is absolutely, a business model that, look, not all business models are made the same. And so what you're learning today is how to scale and grow past X figure, wherever you're at. All right. And take those pieces, make it your own, so that we can actually grow your impact and your income. Now, isn't that amazing that I've written 03 and put a whole bunch of question marks there because I was going to come back and add something else. And we obviously haven't done that. So you're welcome, everybody, for that piece. Isn't that amazing? I don't normally do that where I've just forgotten to put something back in. So anyway, they are the 2 big things. That's why I put question mark on the 3rd one, because I was like, well, what else do I want you to leave today? And we're actually going to do a really amazing, we're doing a couple of workshop activities. And towards the end, I want to do a bit of a, what would you call it? I guess a deep dive or like a pulse check. We're going to do a bit of a pulse check on your business and where it's at now. And it's a non-judgmental pulse check. It's just to see, okay, cool. Like I'm acing some of these things, which are, 40K month business strategies. And there are some things that I haven't actually implemented that are maybe, 10K month business strategies, or, there are some things I've already got, that are 70+K months business strategies and things like that. So we're going to do a bit of a pulse check later. Let's make that number 3. So to get the most out of today, obviously, grab a pen and paper. Those who use multiple, senses and learning styles at any one time actually get more out of something. And I know if you guys have shown up here today, or if you're literally watching this back, you're already putting time, energy, know-how into just being present with this experience. All right. So why not amplify that? We know the people who have pen and paper out as well and are writing things down are going to retain, I think it's up to to, 50% more information than people who don't. All right. So even if it's just a couple of little key points, a sentence I say, whatever the little gold nugget is for you, if you're able to write it down. The other idea is to interact. Okay, so this isn't just a dictatorship where, I'm here up the front, although I love that, sitting here at the front, just you having to listen to me. As I said, we are going to workshop a couple of things. So I really look forward to snatching some of you out of the chat box there and, and having a bit of a talk out loud for everyone and for your benefit as well. And I would also say this, no phones, put your phone down unless you're listening on it. But otherwise, look, put the phone down. If you can't dedicate, an hour and a half to just being present with one thing that could literally change the way you do business and life forever, that's problematic. Your business existence, your life is not going to explode around you if you happen to step away for an hour and a half and just be present with this. All right. And if your life and your business is going to explode if you happen to not step away for an hour and a half, then you actually need this even more. All right. We need to have a conversation about that. Reach out to me maybe afterwards, in Messenger or something like that. Now, we here, as part of my organization, we're very big on our philanthropy work, and we're very lucky and able to give back. And so, I always said that time was my greatest commodity, not necessarily money. So if I'm able to be out there volunteering, giving back, doing philanthropy work and stuff like that, that is absolutely, a life well lived for me. And I have a program that's called the Soul Aligned Empire. And our ethos of the Soul Aligned Empire, my main mastermind program, is a power for good in the world. All right. So our ethos is to be a power for good in the world. And every time we do something in business, something good happens in the world. All right. So people are like, #impact. All right. Excellent. Yes. That's what I want you to do as much as you like. All right. I want you today to beat the record of our last masterclass, which was 75. So for every time you put #impact into the chat box, all right, over the next little while, we are going to plant a tree. All right, we're going to donate a tree to one of our philanthropy partners, who does a lot of amazing, charitable work across our entire planet. All right, #impact. All right, perfect. Okay. So if we say something you love, or we say something you hate, or you just want to plant another tree, and I promise, however many we end up with, because Real Ivy is going to keep count. However many we end up with, I promise that I will match that amount as well. All right. So I'll let you know by the end of today, when we're finishing up, how many #impacts we've made. So that's really exciting. I love doing that and this. So here's the thing. All right. If you're here, you probably already have an amount of success. All right. So let's just pat you, on the back for already, for already having that. All right. Like, that's amazing. Okay. It means that you have what it takes. That little voice inside of your head that possibly still creeps in sometimes is maybe a little more muted than perhaps somebody next to you. All right. You have what it takes. You have belief in yourself, and you are probably out there taking aligned action, which is amazing. Okay. It's within reach. Who is sitting there? Give me a #impact. If you are sitting there and you're like, I know that I can do great things. I know that, the impact exactly that I want to make, that the money, is doable, especially in this realm of coaching. Like, coaching is $1 billion industry now, right? Who here, heck yes, #impact, right? Who here has more than one coach themselves in different areas? I do. Absolutely. God, I don't even know. I probably have like 5, I would say, if I'd have to think about it, right? Like, so many of us, especially when you're already in a coaching space, we value knowledge, we value support, we value community, we value mentorship, all of those different things, all right? So I'm already preaching to the choir with you guys being here today, which is awesome. So now, as we said before, we just kind of want to amplify that. How can we turn your amazing success that you already have? How can we turn it up on steroids, all right? So the problem is that what got you to 20K months, maybe you're at 10K months, maybe you're somewhere in between, wherever you are now, all right? And I'm going to show you, as I said at the end, we've got a bit of a diagram, like it's such a great diagnostic tool. I promise you that. So have a look at that. I'll get you to like take a photo of it, steal away, all right? The problem is wherever you are now, whatever has gotten you to the point that you're at now in business, all right, isn't what's going to get you to 50K months. All right. So if you're at 20K or something like that, what got you to 20K isn't going to get you to 50K. What got you to 10K might get you to 20K, might. But by the time you get to 20K, you will be stressed out, burnt out, overwhelmed, overworked, all of those different things, all right? And we don't want that to happen. And then once you hit that 20K, as we're going to learn about today, there's some key shifts you need to make, that's all very doable, all right? It's up leveling, it's growth, it's change, it's different. It requires a new version of you, all right? Which is very exciting, I think. So is this you? Stressed out, burnt out, overwhelmed, spending all of your dollars to make all of your dollars, perhaps. You've hit a time ceiling. So maybe you're really used to trading one-on-one time for money or doing everything yourself. You've probably hit an energy ceiling. Again, give me some hashtag impacts if this sounds like you. Who feels like they've hit an energy ceiling? We still have, I have sometimes have days like that too. I kind of go, oof, and I'm done for today. I'm just going to lay in bed. Alrighty. So sometimes we have energy ceilings. Maybe we've hit an income ceiling, and you're just kind of clunking along and you're like, oh my God, why, why am I not going like this? Like things aren't going up, things are just kind of clunking and you lose a client and you gain a client and it just sort of, like the hamster wheel or something like that. All right. So if that's the problem, why am I the person here today, talking to you? Well, look, I am a multimodality health professional. What that means is that basically I get bored and I go and learn things, not bored in a bad way. I just really fucking love learning and I want to learn until the day I die. All right. So I am, a strength coach. I've got clinical holistic nutritionist, NLP, hypnotherapist, all the different things. Basically, if you can think of it in health, fitness, nutrition, whatever, I've probably got a qualification in it, yoga teacher, meditation coach, so on and so forth and so on. Alrighty. It's kind of all the boring stuff, really. I perceive that I am a transformational leader of a social enterprise. I don't just perceive that, it is true. And if you're here, guess what? You're actually transformational leaders of social enterprises as well. And what that means is that you transform lives for a living. All right. How fucking awesome is that? Right? You are a transformational leader of a social enterprise, which literally means you transform lives for a living. Give me some hashtag impacts. All right. So I've been running multi-million-dollar businesses since I was about 19, which has been an interesting journey, and then after becoming this multimodality health professional, I sort of went, right, let's start, helping other coaches to hit those, multi-six and seven-figure marks, all right? Impact and income, you are allowed to have it both, all right? You get to be filthy fucking rich while still with integrity, helping people, to better themselves, better their lives, with whatever modality you come from. All right. You do not have to be in struggle just by being somebody who is of service. All right. You can both help people and have a fuck yes life yourself. All righty. And so basically for me, again, why I'm the person that gets to be so lucky to sit here and chat to you today is, look, my mission on this planet is to help unlock greater human potential. All right. It's why we do so much philanthropy work, because if people aren't struggling for, the basic things like food, water, shelter, things like that, imagine how much like amazing human potential is going to be unlocked when people aren't struggling for those basic needs. And so everything that we do in business, we ensure that has a greater impact on the world, whether it's through our philanthropy, our education, our access to business programs and stuff like that we do. All right. I want to help, a million transformational leaders with social enterprises help their amazing clients also. So that's why I get to be this amazing lucky human here supporting you all today. So what I want to ask you is, what would $1 million year mean to you? What would $1 million year mean to you? And not just one, but being able to recreate it, and again, and again and again. And right now, some of you might be like, oh my gosh, I'd love a $200,000 year. Oh my God, I'd love a $500,000 year. Oh my God, $1 million year. And you know, it literally, you could be sitting there scoffing in your head, like, oh, whoa, like, you know, a little bit triggered, right? Like, no more snakes. I'm sorry, I did actually mean to say that. Sorry, let's just pause for a second. Trigger warning, anyone, because it was called Scale Summit. I kind of went with like a whole bunch of scales. So everything, there's a lot of mermaid in here though. There's a lot of mermaid in here. All right. So yeah, hashtag no more snakes. There's no visible snake heads. There's just maybe some colorful snake-like patterns. All right. That's okay. We like a bit of animal print. So imagine what that $1 million year. And the thing is that in this day and age, right, even if you are sitting there feeling a little fucking sweaty and a little uncomfortable and you're like, oh my God, I can't even fathom that amount because I'm so used to fucking struggling and living week to week. Or if you're at 20K, you might be like, okay, well, that fucking, you know, that's taken a lot out of me. Like I can't even imagine, you know, amplifying that, doubling that, tripling that to get myself to $1 million year. All right. But the thing is, as we said, this industry that we're in across, you know, all the coaching spectrums, right, is a $1 billion industry now, and it is growing. People are now understanding, you know, the benefit of not only having one coach, but having many coaches to help support them in their, you know, daily lives. And what I would also suggest is, why are you here? You know, if you don't believe, you know, deeply in what it is that you do. And I imagine most of you do. So if you believe deeply in the impact and the ability you have to help and serve others, then guess what? It actually gets to be even to the income level that you call in as well. All righty. So what would that $1 million year mean to you? So look, let's jump in and find out how we do it. Now, if you know me, standard things is that I am a snot. So we'll just do that for a second. Woo. All right. So I want to give you some juicy information, okay, today. So again, get your pen and papers out. You are going to learn lots of stuff. So let's talk about 3 mistakes I see. All right. 3 mistakes I see in businesses that are trying to grow and scale past 20K. All right. Or past, you know, past 10K, past 20K, you know, it happens at some of those levels. The next level is kind of 40K, you know, 40K to 50K, 70K, 100 and above. All right. So different things happen at those different income levels. So these are the mistakes I see at those sort of, you know, 10 to 20s and beyond marks. Number 1. Support. These are the 3 S's. All right. So number 1 is support. Okay. The mistake I see is that continuing to try to do it all yourself. All right. You simply cannot do that. The volume is too great. Who has ever been in a situation where they're like, oh my God, I'm feeling so fucking overwhelmed with how much work I need to do right now and how many, you know, people need me and all the rest of it. And I've got to answer to this and I've got to do that. And then sometimes even you'll go home and you'll be a little bit like snappy and things like that with the people that you love most, right? The people that you love most end up getting the worst of you because, as we said before, you're stressed out, burnt out, overwhelmed, you know, because yes, friggin' impact. Exactly right. Because the support isn't there. The support structures aren't in the businesses yet. And the volume is too great. All right. So the solution is basically to become the CEO and leader of your organization. All right. It is to step you out of doing the everyday stuff, whether that's, you know, that could be stepping you out of doing your bookkeeping. That could be stepping you out of, you know, being your own assistant or something. Like one of the first most important things that you should be doing, even at a 10K mark, you should be getting yourself a VA. All right. So a virtual assistant that literally is like your, you know, your sanity. Ivy, you know, Ivy is my EA and oh my gosh, you know, she is my sanity, my day-to-day sanity for sure. All right. And at about the 20K mark, you need to be getting yourself an EA. And an EA is an executive assistant. All right. Somebody who helps run your life for you. All righty, because you need that, all right, so that you can stay in your areas of genius, right, while being able to, you know, hand over some of the you know, daily sort of to-dos so that you can help, you know, be in your business and grow your business and, you know, do amazing fun things like this while being supported along the way, all right? You've got to, you know, what we sometimes see is, what's it called? Like, you know, the control freak identity starts to come out a little bit where it's like, oh, but nobody could do it as good as I can. Or, you know, oh, but how would I even train them? Or what if they, you know, whatever, or like, you know, sometimes as we're initially like elevating, all right, there are some lessons to learn about becoming that, CEO of your own business and becoming that leader of an organization, not just being a worker mindset, all right, worker bee, showing up, trading one-on-one time for money, and you being in every area of your business. It is now time to start, getting support in different areas and what that looks like, okay? And it can simply start, depending on where you are, is it could be a VA level, you could be at EA level, you could be at, getting somebody to help you with some sales, a sales team member, something like that, and another coach, to take off some of that pressure. The second S is scalable strategies, all right? So the mistake that I see is selling into short-term solutions versus long-term support. All right, too many coaches out there are trying to, create courses versus mentorships. Basically, it's creating a short-term course or program or challenge versus some kind of, extended, ongoing, long-term, support for people. All right, we're actually going to learn a little bit more about this today. So, I'll leave some of it to when we get there. And so the solution is to create stackable wealth. All right. So if you want to understand and learn how to create stackable wealth, and what stackable wealth is that it's income on top of income on top of income, right? And it's the type of income that is financially, financial safety and security. If you're living week to week, you are not in financial safety and security. If you're, day to day, week to week, month to month, literally, rests on, 2 or 3 low dollar paying clients dropping off, and then you're in meltdown, you do not have financial safety and security. All right. We want your stackable wealth, locked in for a minimum of 6 months to a year in advance. All right. And so anything on top of that is just dollars on dollars on dollars on dollars. I'm going to teach you how to do that because, as I said before, not all business models are made the same. All righty. And so the third mistake that I see that comes up, in a lot of coaching businesses is systems. And I know it doesn't sound very sexy, like systems, but, you guys are probably okay with it, I imagine, because at the end of the day, the problem or the mistake is having an ineffective product suite. Again, we're going to talk about that in a second, that isn't geared towards growth. All right. And a product suite is literally like the business ecosystem. So your business ecosystem isn't actually set up, as we just said, for stackable wealth, and geared towards growth. All right. And not only growth, but impact. We love a bit of impact too. So it's always impact and income at the same time. All right. Again, you probably wouldn't be here in my realm if you didn't genuinely care about people, so to me, that's always a given, right? Caring about people genuinely is always a bit of a given, and so now we get to make a little bit more income at the same time. All righty. So the solution for that, I want to show you this. This is a 7-figure coaching secret. All right. Sometimes I call this model if you've done one of our masterclasses before, I sometimes call this model what's it called? The 3-step financial success model. So you may have seen it before in a previous webinar, right? It is in fact a 7-figure coaching strategy. All right, 100%. This is literally, the biggest coaches in the world, the multi-8s, the multi-7s are building their businesses based on this. Okay, so we get to take some of their juiciness and, make it our own. All right, so it's time to scale. Who's here to scale? Give me some impacts. Give me some impacts. Impacts. Awesome. So look, we're talking bigger dollars today, right? We're here to talk bigger dollars. But again, remember that this is for wherever you're at in business. Okay. For wherever you're at in business right now. Now I want to talk about this. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I'm going to stop share. Hello. And then I'm going to, there we go. Is that okay? Can everyone see me? I'm a little bit bigger. Ta-da! Now, I want your input here. All right. So this is just a bit of a model to show us the difference in, say, somebody who is, moving their way to six figures, which is say $100,000, or I mean, let's say 100, it's about 100,000. I mean, six figures is obviously $100,000, but it's pretty much in that realm. As we start to move from, small multi-sixes to, medium multi-sixes and seven-figure business strategies, some things change here. All right. Now I want your input. What do you think lead generation feels like, all right, at six figures? So what does lead generation feel like? I want to get some input here. What does it feel like? What do you think you're doing for lead generation? Who's got any ideas? How does it feel? Who's ever been stressed out, burnt out, and overwhelmed, right? Trying to bring on new leads and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a bit of a slog. Yep. Yes, exactly. Right. So lead generation, perfect. Hashtag slog. Let's plant a tree for that. I love it. It's hustle. It's fucking hustle, right? Like, who's ever been there? Yeah, perfect. All right. So we've got hustle. Okay. So our lead generation, when we're at, trying to get to six figures, it feels like fucking hustle. We are using, we are trading one-on-one time for money. We are probably doing it all ourselves, like we were, talking about. And what do you think I guess like the quality of leads, what do you think? We need like quality, or we want quantity, like at this level? It's quantity. We're literally like smashing, so you can write that in as well. All right. So our leads, yeah, quantity, right? And so then when we're trying, or when we're moving ourselves towards seven figures, what does that feel like? What do you think that is? The biggest differences between how we succeed, in the six-figure marks. How do you think leads feel like seven figures? What do you think it is? Quality, definitely. Yeah. So we'll put that over here. Yeah. Quality, which is awesome. Yep. Flowy. Yeah. Great word. Flowy. You're in more flow. And the reason you're in more flow is because there are more systems. Yep. And guess what else? Choice. All right. And that kind of comes with the quality part. All right. So choice. Okay. So when we're, doing our lead generation and we're in hustle and we're like, yes, like exactly. It's better consistency. It's more effective, And so these are the switches we need to make, or the understandings that we need to have, right? So that we go, oh, okay, I'm thinking with my seven-figure brain now, or my multi-six-figure brain now versus my six-figure brain, or my, five-figure brain. Right? Because leads, it feels like hustle. It feels like, we need quantity, where it's a numbers game. Like if we can just, get more through, but we want quality, right? And being able to have the freedom of choice because you're in flow and because you've got systems and help in place, it literally switches the dynamic. And so here's the dynamic: sales, six-figure sales, right? Who's ever done the thing where they've taken on board anyone with a heartbeat and a wallet? Right? Like, who's done that before? You're like, I don't know that I like this person, but I'm going to take them on board. Yeah. Like, because I need to say yes to the money. Like, yeah, unfortunately, right? Like, yeah, and so six-figure sales can be, and I know this is a strange word, out of desperation. Out of necessity. All right. I would write that word down if I ever fucking knew how to spell it. I get to about NEC, and thank God for autocorrect, right? Oh my God. Seven figures. What do you think happens at seven figures then? If this is like sales out of desperation, because we're just going to say yes to anyone with like a wallet and a heartbeat, at seven figures, we know we've got choice, which is awesome. All right. Which actually means that with that choice, people basically have to audition. All right. So desperation changes to audition, where it's like, we have the freedom to say yes and no to people. you know, sorry, you're actually not a great fit. And that's really in alignment too, because you're serving them by saying, look, you know, like, yeah, choosing people that you want. Yep. And being able to send others away who are not aligned with you. And that doesn't have to be an asshole thing. It's never like, sorry, like, you know, you don't match like our person. See ya, good luck to you. Like, it's no better than worse than. It's simply like, you know, you're over frequency, they're over frequency. It's currently not matching. That's cool. Like, you know, I send people away with love, like all the time, but it's like, you know, of course, like bless. All right. So if that's how sales feels, clients, how are we serving our clients at 6 figures? How are we serving them? Round peg, square holes, right? Can you guys see that? Is that it? Can you guys see the words properly? Is that all right? Yeah. I kind of zoomed out. If you make me bigger, you might be able to see just a little more. So clients, we go from a time, need to get some new texters, I think. Time for money. Remember how we were saying, like, you've hit an income ceiling, you've hit an energy ceiling, because you're constantly trading time for money. All right. You're constantly trading time for money. And it's generally like one-on-one time for money. You guys see that? All right. And so then over here at 7 figures, what do you think's here? Somebody give me an answer. Or forever hold your peace. Hashtag impact. So this is time for money, one-on-one. Then over here, we go to leverage time because you're getting support now, and one to many. All right. So one to group approach. All right. So this is leverage. I hope you guys are writing this down. Leverage, and one to group or many. All right. And then your focus. All right. So who feels like they have a complicated business? Who feels like they have a complicated business here? We're actually going to look at that and work on that a little bit today when I give you like the 7-figure business model in a second. All right. But what happens down here with your focus is it goes from like complex to, what do you think the answer is? Yeah, lots of balls in the air all the time, right? Oh my God, it's exhausting. You know, like being like, I've got to pay attention here and there, and like 100%, you know, getting to this 6-figure marks, it feels like, you know, it's complex, lots of balls in the air. So what's the opposite? What's the opposite, you guys? Streamlined. Nice. Yes. Simple and streamlined. Oh, we've just kind of scribbled off the end there. Yep. Flowing. Exactly. All right. And so obviously something needs to happen between going from here, you know, where we've been all push, you know, in the 6 figures. So we've gone all push. It's like hustle, you know, like desperation. I'll take the clients, time for money, like, you know, like can't trade any more time for money because you don't have any more hours in the day. The business might be a bit complex. Like you have a whole bunch of different membership types, or you have a whole bunch of different offers, or you've got, you know, all the different balls in the air. And we want to change that, as I just put the lids on the textures. And we want to change that, obviously, to having systems in place, support networks, so people, you know, supporting you, whatever that looks like, right? And there is a triage. We look at a triage in your business or your organization and go, well, what do you need most right now? You know, that's going to make the biggest impact and help you out the most. And we work out the best way that we can implement that so that we can free up more of your time and space and energy, right? So getting you that, that quality of lead, all right, as well, instead of it just being like a fucking mass numbers game because your dollars are so low, like as in what you're charging, you know, that we just have to keep churning people through. You know, we get people who have to almost audition for us, like, you know, the sentiment is right? Like we want them to kind of audition. We want them not necessarily to prove themselves to us. I don't love that terminology, but you get the idea. We get the choice because now we have leverage time because we have other people supporting us. We are doing one to group versus one to one. So you're being paid more on the dollar for every hour, all right, that you are working because it's leverage time. And your business that has been so convoluted but it's gotten you to a particular point. So we appreciate the business for getting you to where it's gotten you now. So it's never about shitting on any past versions of you or the business. It's just about saying what got you to where you are now isn't going to be the bit that gets you to the next part. All right. So we want to make sure that now we know what's feeling really good in the business. We're like, okay, cool. Let's simplify it, streamline and turn something that's complex into, a beautiful business ecosystem and product suite. All righty. So let's jump back in to that. Are you all good? Give me some impacts to say, yep, super helpful, makes sense. Impact. Yes. Amazing. Awesome. So as we said before, not all business models are made the same, all right? And it's really interesting. It's really interesting, that a lot of coaching business models, or the old way of doing coaching doesn't necessarily set us up for the greatest amounts of success. It honestly doesn't, And so this is the thing, you guys. Coaching is one skill set, business is another. All right. So coaching, often we get into an industry, a coaching industry, whatever it may be, health, fitness, nutrition, mindset, NLP, hypnosis, life coaching, you pick it, you name it. Often we kind of get into that because we really love humans and we want to make a difference. And maybe we have some kind of, story ourselves that is, like a triumphant story, I hope, and we're like, yes, now I want to use that to help other people. Amazing. And so your coaching skill set or your coaching toolbox, fuck yes, you've got this. Especially if you've already got an amazing level of success, whatever that looks like to you, a bunch of clients and dollars, proven system, hell yes to that, right? But business is literally its own toolkit, okay? And so as we scale and grow, we need to continue to learn what those next levels and layers are, right? What tweaks we need to make to help continue that scale, the scalability and growth, all right? So this is the 7-figure business model, okay? Now, we will do an activity in a second. I'm going to talk at you for a second. In your worksheets, you will have a bit of a funnel in there. We're going to draw into that in a second. So we'll pop the link back into the group. And if you're watching this back, I'm sure we've sent you the worksheets, just the worksheets, not the questions. But this is it, right? This is a 7-figure business model. It's simple, it's clean, and it's clear. There you go, guys. There's the Google Drive right there. So what normally happens is that how do I want to explain this to you? We have our lead generation, which is the top portion, okay? So we run some kind of event, or we have lead generation, or we do some sort of launch lead in, or whatever it may be, all right? You might have some referral drives. You could, however you're getting your leads in one way or another. Probably in a few ways, I would hope. But we often, suggest like having some kind of event strategy. Look, this is an event, like running a workshop for ideal potential clients, I suppose, like being of service to those who, need it, giving, a shit ton of information out there, right? And, trusting that your soul clients are going to come towards you. So you have that at the top level. What then happens is you move down to something like some kind of signature program. All right. So you might be running like an 8-week program, or have some beautiful experience that you want to take people through, that's kind of at that middle level. And that's normally, as I said, an 8-week, a 10-week, a 12-week kind of maximum. All righty. And then we drop down to what is called MRR. And MRR is monthly reoccurring revenue. All right. And when we were talking about stackable wealth. Stackable wealth happens at the MRR level. All right. So it's how do we, I guess, siphon, people into the top of our product suite. So this is a product suite or a business model. Those words are used a little bit interchangeably. So this is our product suite, right? Where we have, an amazing, front-end program or signature program, again, quite interchangeable, a front-end program. People can come and join, and then off the back of that, we would make a beautiful offer to come to some kind of like mentorship or ongoing program or something a little bit longer. And we're going to talk about client lifetime value a little bit later as well. But again, this is how we stack wealth, is in the MRR level. So we siphon people through the top. They come to some sort of a front end journey. They're loving it. They want to be, there with you kind of thing. And then they, move down to something a little bit more longer term. All righty. So the idea with this kind of business model is that, you're always just moving people through the next most logical step. So if I could add another mistake in there that sometimes happens, at those sort of 10 to 20K, months, is that we often go for the jugular. Desperation, it's the desperation piece. And so we're literally just going for the jugular. We're like, I have a business, I have an offer for a program, you need to come and join, or that type of a thing. We're actually, we want to build what we call relationship equity. And again, if you guys have a certain amount of success, you're probably already doing this, whether you understand what it is and means or not. All right. You've probably got an amount of success. So let's put some words to it. It's called relationship equity. All right. Showing up and being of service within integrity, without expectation. All right. And then, when somebody happens to reach out or is like, yes, sounds amazing, or what else is on offer, whatever it might be, right? We move people through a bit of a process, which basically goes from something like, a freebie offer or something like that to a chat, like a messenger chat to potentially a call to perhaps that front end program, and a front end program to an MRR. That is a product suite. All right. It's moving people through while building relationship equity. But obviously, as we said before, like within integrity, you've got to deliver at the same time with whatever it is that you're offering. All right. So I want us to just have a bit of a, look at your product suite right now. And I want to help someone here who's here today build out their product suite in like real time. All righty. So is there somebody who's like, yes, like, I kind of get the model, or I've already got a bit of a program I'm running, or I've already got a bit of an offer or something like that, and might want to sort of unpack these other layers with me? Who have we got, you guys? Let me just get my trusty piece of paper out. Where's the hashtag impacts? I mean, I will just pick someone. Alrighty. Kathy, picking you. You're like, oh no. Kathy, are you there? I'm going to ask to unmute you. Ask to unmute.
Yes, darling.
Hello.
Hello.
You've been attacked. It's happening. Talk to me for a second. I hope you're okay that I've attacked you, and we're going to build out a little bit of a business model here for you, and just see what it is that you've got going on at the moment, and make this kind of make sense for you, like in your existence moving forward. So tell me a little bit about what you're up to at the moment.
So I am on the precipice of changing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
From what to what?
So currently got a cafe.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes. Hospitality, love it.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
To going into coaching.
Yes. And what kind of coaching are you doing again? Just remind me.
So I'd like to do NLP life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't done my hypnotherapy yet, but that would be the next thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that'll get added, I'm sure. They all seem to come hand in hand at that
point.
Yeah,
it's like that is the suite, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. And so have you got a bit of a niche or something like that you have in mind at the moment?
I was thinking about this the other day, and yes and no. I was thinking about, with my business, I currently work with a lot of young people.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the people that I want. I'm sort of thinking about people between sort of 30 and 50, with a bit of life skill.
Yep.
That have had some rough
experience.
Yeah. Had some had to make some tough decisions, or come to the realization that they're stuck or something like that, and helping them navigate their way through. They're still young enough, so they're old enough to have gone through the maturity,
yep,
but they're still young enough to dive into life still.
Yeah. And so what would be the desired outcome for them then? So they're feeling a bit stuck is kind of where they're at right now. They've gone through some BS,
Yes.
some life has caught up to them and whatever, but they're still within that bracket. Yeah.
Like all of us, I think clarity.
Yeah. Clarity.
Some direction.
Yeah. Clarity. Direction's a nice one.
Yeah. I think also, understanding their passions.
Yep.
And chasing those maybe.
Yep. Dreams, fulfillment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, like you say, being able to tap into to life and to be able to tackle it, head on, and don't feel like you're going to be battling it. I think just, taking people out of flowing in the weeds. I've flown in the weeds for so long. That it's actually life-changing to get the noose removed from around your neck, so to speak. So just getting people that freedom.
Yeah, freedom, such a good one as well.
Yeah.
That down. So we also normally say following your greatest excitement or joy, fun, play, pleasure, passion. And if it's not joy, fun, play, pleasure, passion, it's not for you. It's that simple, And so even for you with this, we'd be like, cool, let's follow your greatest excitement. So if you're like, oh my God, I could fucking talk about freedom and passion and living your most fulfilled self and all that kind of stuff. It's like, juicy, 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 for sure. That's a program in its own right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And obviously utilizing the life skills, the NLP and stuff like that to clear stuck fear and unhelpful thinking patterns and stuff like that. Okay, cool.
So I found timeline therapy to be really good for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So a hybrid. All right. Hybrid. Correct. Okay. So I know you probably can't fully see this. Can you guys see that a little bit?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So you've actually just created your middle level. All right. And what that means is that you could literally create a really beautiful signature program. And what we want to do is take people from point A to point B. All right. And so point A to point B is going from feeling stuck, unfulfilled, lost in life, probably taken a few, too many knocks. And they're just like, oh my God, what is even the fucking point? Going from thinking life is happening to them to life happening for them. It's like, that's the point A to point B journey, going from feeling like, stuck and overwhelmed and unfulfilled and whatever to feeling freedom and fulfillment, dreams, clarity, direction, passion, all those kinds of things. All right.
Yep.
And if you wanted to take it one step further, there's something, I'm just giving you guys some little extra information. There's something we call tangible and intangible outcomes. They can be a little bit of a mind fuck, I will say that. So intangible outcomes can be something like happiness. It's a little bit intangible. Like, how do we know when we're happy? How do we know when we're, what is the measure of happiness? So sometimes intangible outcomes are a little bit more difficult, but we can totally sell based on them. Whereas tangible outcomes are a lot easier. All right. So in a business framework, if I was saying 50K months, that's a tangible outcome. We know if you've hit it or not. And so when we're working with mindset and and people's internal dynamics, sometimes if we can find a really key problem, like it could be career, it could be relationship, generally any of the big it's about big 6 or 7, isn't it really? Like career, family, health, career, family, health. I already said on relationships, there's about 6 or 7, key ones, personal development. You can pick one of those, that you're like, ooh, let's take you on a point A to point B journey to do with your health or to do with your relationships or whatever. And fulfillment, it'd still be fulfillment, dreams, clarity, direction, passion, but you're solving a bigger problem. Does that kind of make some sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a very short, quick version of tangible outcomes. All right. Yep. So this is beautiful, but you could have a program that's health related. As we said, it could be relationship related, whatever it might be. Anyway. So that is your signature program. And how you could run that is a group, like some kind of group program, that's we call it a hybrid, where maybe you run an 8-week signature program to a group of people. So you're teaching on freedom, or you're teaching on fear and patterns, or something unhelpful thinking, or whatever it might be. And then a hybrid program has a few portions of one-on-one in it as well. So maybe over the 8 weeks, they have like 8 individual kind of like themes or topics. But then you might do a little bit of individual timeline therapy, within the first few weeks with everyone, just to really help, bring about greater depth of change, throughout the overall program. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally.
Cool. And so that's your middle level. All right. So you've got a signature program. Okay. Then, what you would do off the back of that is that you could then make an offer to a monthly reoccurring revenue program. So our MRR program is down here, where stackable wealth happens. All right. Because what happens is, like, this baby that we love, up here. Is it might be an 8-week program, which means we might run it for 4 times a year, 5 times a year, or we'd make it evergreen where people can join at any time, but they're kind of going on an 8 to 12 week journey. All right. Whereas if we drop people down after they finish this level and they're like, oh my God, that was so amazing and transformative. Like, they know, like, and trust us. We've built relationship equity. Then they drop, if we have an offer that's like, come and join us in a, beautiful 9-month container where we actually take everything that we learned here, and we do a deeper dive, maybe we do some towards and away from goals. Maybe we do some what's it called?
Values.
Yeah, you're right. Ask question.
Would you do like values? Deeper dive.
Exactly. Yeah. Values. The levels. Like 1 to 8 or whatever. Like those levels. Those values as well. Like how you could be a 6 or a 5-6, or you could be a 7, which is like an Elon Musk, or like anybody NLP might know what I'm talking about. Exactly. So it's basically a deeper dive version of this, because you can't give it all away at this level, and not because we're trying to hold back from people, but because it's fucking overwhelming, and sometimes we're like kitchen sink and we're like, oh my God, I want to give you all the information, and here it all is, and like blah, blah, blah. And we could do this, and we could do, what's this, parts integration. I'm like, what the fuck is this one? I couldn't think of it, but I could do the hands. I'm like, what's the one after? So you could do some timeline therapy up there, a few sessions of it with them, or something. You keep it like simple enough for them to get an amazing result, and for them to then be like, oh my gosh, like, I don't actually want to leave what else is available. And then that's when you sort of, put something that rolls on. And so our year, or our time, again, for anyone, is always then about just dropping new leads into the top up here, and then getting, they come and join the front end program, have an amazing time. And then, let's say you get 10 people here, 5 of them are going to join down here, and then you'll run another one, and, or that kind of a thing. If you were doing like, if you ran 4 of these a year, if we made it evergreen, which is join at any time. All right. Then that means that anybody can be coming in at any time, and we can be, signing new people into the bottom end. Does that kind of make sense?
Yep. Absolutely.
That becomes your product suite. And it doesn't mean that you can't do some one-on-one over here as well. Like we kind of look at one-on-one like it's a bit of a sidestep, okay?
Yes.
Which is fine. You're allowed to do some if you think, oh gosh, I don't know that this person is really ready for this, or they've gone through something really traumatic, or, but I really still want to help them, then we can have a little one-on-one package available as well. But this is the stackable wealth, that's going to, Have
you ever had any of the one-on-ones, like the little side stacky thing? Have you ever had any of those then move into the MRR?
Totally. Yes.
Yeah, because you've given them that dedicated time.
Exactly. Yeah. So sometimes, this is note to everyone. Is this good information, everybody? Like, does this make sense? Give me some impacts in the thing, so I know you're all still with us, because this is, relevant to everyone. You could totally have a way for people to go directly into the MRR as well. Because maybe there are some people that have already done some personal development work. They're a little bit more woke, but they love your dynamic. And they're like, oh my gosh, you've got like you've got a 12-month container, like based on that. Hell yes, you can still sign them straight into here. And so what happens, how I said freebie offer. So this is where your freebie offers happen. right? So a freebie offer up here. And then, you know, you might start a chat with somebody and then you might jump on a call with them. By the time you get on the call with them, you might have a bit of an idea. You'll be like, actually, I'm not even going to suggest this level. I'm just going to say, come to the MRR. Or maybe you need one-on-one. And it's on that call that you'll be able to make that determination and then obviously kind of prescribe what you believe they need, you know, from your product suite.
And that's where you come to part of that part about the audition. Is that what you feel is bespoke? Is it?
Yeah. As I said, you know, I mean, well, let's take the word audition out of it for a second. It's really just about, like, it is really just about service, you know, because then if somebody comes and says, let me think, what's something really random, like I'm a drug addict or something like that, you know, and I'm just going through some really tough times and I get a little bit violent or whatever it might be. All right, like you might be like, oh, not my person. Like, you know, you're like, okay, actually I know some other people who work with that kind, you know, with those sorts of problems, and you might suggest them on. All right, so it's more just about like service, just sort of saying, okay, well, you're going through something heavy, cool, let's do one-on-one, or let's go MR. Yeah. So yeah, does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Was that super helpful?
Yeah, it was for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah. But thank you so much, Kathy, for being the example for everyone else. All right. I know you just get pulled off the thing. Just muting you now. And so look, I just want to Robert, are you alive? Are you there? Robert, are you alive? Are you there? I'm not going to pull you off the microphone, Robert, but I just want to see if you're there, and I want to talk directly at you for a second, and not just you, but you're going to be an example for other people. So Kathy is super lucky. Yes. Hello, Robert. So Kathy's super lucky because she's able to build this model like we just discussed from word go. All right. Perfect. You know, to be able to go, cool. I understand the model. I know this is going to be stackable wealth. I'm going to, you know, this is how I'm going to flow people through, which means you don't have to blow too much up, Kathy. You're kind of, you know, set. We get to tweak and adapt and make sure you're in excitement and passion and all the rest of it. Somebody like Robert, you know, Robert has a gym. Right. Robert, I might take you off mute for a second. You can come and be an example for people. Hello. Hello, Robert.
Yep. Got you.
Hello. So what I was going to say is that sometimes our business model can be like this as well. You've got an additional line that goes down the middle. All right. Because you've got the gym. Okay. And so you might have like gym members who are, you know, like are at this kind of middle level. Okay. So they're here. These are your standard gym members, and you're just getting you're getting referrals, and you're getting, you do some advertising. That's how you're getting leads for your gym. All right. I mean, that makes sense. Yep. Then you might actually end up with like a VIP option down here as your MRR. Okay. And we're going to talk about this a little bit in a minute, but it's like, how do we turn like a standard maybe gym membership or turn a $50 a week client into $1,000 a month client? Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah.
You've got two options. That could be your entire funnel. All right. It could literally just be that. You know, where we create like an additional option that just helps, you know, like solidify financial security, an amount of financial security across time and space. Or you could have the line down the middle where I throw the texture at myself, where maybe you do want to create a program here at this middle level, some kind of signature program, and an MRR down the bottom, and then you just kind of have one-on-one PT kind of out here. Yeah. And you might just have gym members there. Does that sort of make sense?
Yep. I'm on that path at the moment with that type of thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you have a bit of an idea of like what you're running with or what you're thinking? Are you going to have two pathways, or do you think you're going to have like a VIP, like upgraded option?
I hadn't even thought of it as splitting it like that. So
Yeah.
because what I have like the VIPs that are groups, but then they come on other days and do the extra PT stuff.
Yep.
So then obviously that's the extra charges and the bonus.
Yep.
Bonus.
Do they have a minimum term? They have minimum terms with you, don't they, as well?
Yeah, I've got 3 levels, but we push them towards the top level.
Yeah.
So that's the 4-week blocks. So we get them tied in on those 4-week blocks. So not only for their benefit, but it's security for me financially as well, because you've got that money coming in every 4 weeks.
Yeah. And I think, if they're like, I'm glad you're here then, so we can kind of start expanding like the potential for you, even if you haven't fully been thinking of it yet. As I said, that's why I wanted to grab you, because I thought, oh, this will be a lot of people as well that are sitting there going, I've got 2 arms of my business, or should I create some kind of a VIP, or how do I even amplify that VIP, or should I create a program? What does that look like? Because as we said, we want to make sure that, like, how can we extend what might be like a 4-week client into somebody who's locked in ongoing for 6 months, meaning your financial security is actually locked in for 6 months, not sort of 4 weeks, 12 weeks or something like that, or a year you could have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I've got about a 92% retention rate, which is pretty high for a studio group.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. All right. Well, I might flick back to you when we talk about another bit in a second.
No worries.
Thanks. Let me boop. As I said, look, I wanted to bring that up as well, because I know like Carissa's here, like she has that same business model where there's kind of the 2 arms. And so, and obviously you can see it's a little bit messier than the one single. It's totally doable. Look, it is doable. And what's really awesome as well is if you end up with this kind of 2, like I wouldn't want any more than that. You can have 2 sections. I'll allow it, 2 paths, 2 product suites. And as we were saying, with Kathy, what actually can end up happening is you might have somebody that's here at this level, but then they also join something else over here, or they've come in at this level, but then they've joined over here. So or they've just come straight in at this level. So, and I know that sounds confusing, but it's kind of not when the system is still the same. People come through the top. It's almost like we triage them and go, okay, cool. Like, I think this is for you right now, or this is for you, or actually let's put you down here. So you're just directing them. It's actually quite simple. But the amazing thing is that, once you're getting those leads in the top, they could be kind of joining it anywhere within that product suite. All right. It is simpler, as we said, to scale when there's, a really clear pathway that you're sort of like, yep, go to human for this pathway, here we go. All right. But yeah, 2 pathways totally doable as well. So let's continue. This is actually a client of mine, a one-on-one client of mine, Z. She thought originally, she thought the strategy was all wrong. She's like, no, I don't know. There's not really anyone in my industry doing it like that, and so like maybe I shouldn't do it that way or whatever. But that was kind of her, what she was kind of coming up against. She was like, oh, I don't know, like that might not work for me. All right. And she actually ended up with 2 arms of her business as well, because she sort of went, right, I've got, she's actually a neurodivergent parent coach. And so she created this beautiful, amazing program for mothers, and also an MRR. And then she also created with her partner a program for the parents with neurodivergent children. What's amazing is Z is neurodivergent herself. She's one of the most amazing thinkers I know. And anyway, then she created a second arm to her business that her husband is in on as well. And anyway, so she had the 2 arms. She's now just going to 1. All right, again. All right. So we had 1, then she had 2. And then she's like, no, actually, I just want it to be simplified. And she's in her joy and excitement. And this is somebody who originally thought all of this was wrong for her. She was like, no, nobody in the parents, with neurodivergent children, nobody is coaching like this, whatever. And now like their amazing program literally brings both parents together, like within this container, you know, helps support their communication and their connection and things like that, so that they can manage having, you know, neurodivergent children and everything that comes with that, and ensuring that that parent dynamic is, you know, super strong and amazing. So it's amazing work that she does. And they also do work like 1 week the parents are together, 1 week they're apart, 1 week together. It's really cool stuff. But it gives them that space that they need and that ongoing support, right? And she also came up against a whole bunch of roadblocks, like, no, these are people who have to pay have to pay NDIS money, you know, and stuff like that. She was like, they won't pay that, you know. And now she has people going into her MRR program at about $1,000 a month, you know, that is now locked in reoccurring revenue. She doesn't have to work over December and January and still gets paid because, you know, like the money just keeps rolling over, and yeah, puts people in there. And so at the end of last year, she actually retired her partner, and the financial year was a $300K year. Alrighty, so it is totally doable, even if you're sitting there going, my clients just won't pay that, or I don't know, nobody will want to sign up with me for 12 months, or, you know, like, or nobody in my industry is doing that, you know. Absolutely, like this is the model, this works. All right. So let's talk about monthly recurring revenue program. All right. So what is an MRR program, and why? Why do we do an MRR program, that bottom layer? All right. So CLV, client lifetime value. All right. It's how, let me just bring up, it's basically, it's smart business. Okay. It's how, I'm going to use Kathy. It's how you turn, you know, a $5,000 client into a $25,000 client. All right. How do you turn a $1,000 client into a $10,000 client? How do you turn a $50 a week client into, you know, a $1,000 a month client? All right. Because the thing is, at this level, as we said when we were talking to Kathy and Robert, is that you've already built up relationship equity. All right. These people know, like, and trust you. They are on the journey. You've given them an amount of transformation or something like that. When they finish something at this level, whatever your signature baby is that you love taking people through, they are sitting there primed and ready. They're just like, shut up and take my money. What else have you got? What does that look like? You know, I just want this beautiful, floaty, amazing, transformative experience that I've just had to continue. All right. So you, in true service of them and their needs, right? You know, having something else that they can then flow onto not only is amazing and perfect and within integrity for them, because you're going to be able to support them for, you know, like a lot longer. And as we know, you know, in coaching, it's not an 8-week fix. Nothing ever is. I mean, you can fix some things, especially, you know, NLP. We know that, you know, there's a lot of instantaneous stuff that goes on there. But really, you know, having that mentorship where you can help and support people long term, you know, is really going to get them then that transformation, because it's the embodiment, you know, it's embedding something across time and space, right? And it's smart business. Because instead of just having to continue to put people in the top, it's like this bit doesn't even exist. You're just pumping people through, trying to sign up new people in at this level. And every 8 weeks or 12 weeks or something, you've got to bring a new, you know, new cohort, new group through or something and hit this figure, and, you know, and hustling, you know, to hit those 6 figures, right? You now actually have something that that gives you that financial safety and security across time and space. Because what it means is, if you have people signed up down here, like Zed, she, like, as we said, we were talking about it the other day. I don't know what it is. She's only run, she's on her second round of the parents program now. And so, so the second lot of people are about to go through. With her current statistics, I think she's just locked in about $20,000 of reoccurring revenue for the next year. All right, at this level, because she's still in her second round of that program. All right, at this level. Does that make sense, everyone? And so she had about 8 of 10 people drop down to this level, and she's in the second one, and she's gonna like go again. All right, and dropping more people down in at that level. All right, how do you turn a $50 client, $100 client, $1,000 client, you know, into a $25,000 client across a year? Does that make sense, everybody? So that's what client lifetime value is. All right. Like, and that's what we want in business, you know, because it's actually harder to sell to an entirely brand new person than it is to somebody who is already like, who already knows that you're a fucking, you know, badass and loves, you know, what it is that you're, you know, picking up and putting down. All right. And it doesn't mean we can't sell to new people. Obviously, we do that all the time, right? But the idea is to move people through that product suite, and you make it so that when they get to, you know, when they do, like, let's say a year with you or something, they're like, oh my God, yes, can I sign up again? And you sign them up again for another year. All right. And then you've just locked in reoccurring revenue. That is how true stackable wealth and wealth building occurs. All right. You can't do it off the back of 8-week program, 8-week program, 8-week program, 8-week program, like, you know, just like you're hustling $4 at that point. All right. Hashtag impact. Hooray. So just to give you a little bit of visibility on this, when we're creating your product suite, if it's not something that you've done before, all right, it's, you know, you're like, oh my God, there's so much, you know, to do, or where do I even get started? So this is actually, although the way it works is up here is, you know, the, like some sort of an event or a freebie strategy or a client group strategy or something like that. Then we move people down into our signature program and then MRR. The way we actually create it, just so you have a little bit of understanding, everyone watching this, is we start at this level. So we first create your signature program, all right? Because we need to filter people into that. We do a bit of a launch lead in for it. We get some people in, you know, we get it happening, the content created, all that sort of stuff. We start at this level. Okay, then while these people are finishing, you know, then you create your MRR, because you need somewhere for them to go after you've run it for the first time. All right, so you create the MRR. Then once you've got this all sorted, the MRR is created and people are filtering through, then we look at your events, freebie strategy. Your lead generation is actually like kind of the third thing that we then systemize. So that's the only piece you have to pay attention to. Like, I mean, you're paying attention to all levels, but you know, you're doing your lead gen strategy, right? Like you're executing a plan and people are filtering through, you know, the product suite. Does that make sense, everyone? So when we actually create it, we create that middle level first. So we create you a signature program. All right. We do a launch lead in for you. We get it happening. You know, you're recording sessions and stuff like that. Hashtag impact, you know, and then we go, cool, let's get them into an MRR. And so then that's happening. And then we get the full flow of the entire suite happening at that point. All right. So I was thinking about creating an MRR program with you guys today. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that today. All right. Because I don't want to break your brains too much. I feel like I've given you a lot to think about already. But it's actually like, the idea is that it's actually really simple. Because again, you know, even when we were just talking to Kathy, you know, we just came up with what could literally be the pillars or, you know, what she could take people through, and we do a little bit more finessing. But, you know, there's so much juiciness, and that took us, you know, 10 minutes or something, right? 14 days for $14. Do you classify that as an event? Yeah, so good question, Robert. Totally. Any of the lead generation stuff that you're doing, like, so for you, Robert, yeah, you can, it's not quite an event, but it's your lead, it's a part of your lead generation strategy. So for you, that's up here. All right. Any of your monthly deals and offers, any event, any like any sort of, you know, referral drives and stuff like that. That's, you know, that's all the bread and butter stuff. You know, I've been doing some podcasts lately and things like that. Carissa's about to do a podcast too, you know. So yeah, just anything interesting up the top there. Yeah. Or even like a public facing community group. So a lot of us have public facing community groups. And so you go into that community group and you add a lot of value and stuff like that. And so I'm just going to move around. And so that would be at the top as well, like a group strategy. So anything, yeah, that's lead gen. What was I going to say? Something to do with MRR. Yeah, so as we just sort of saw with Kathy, and we only just did that quickly, and I would take Kathy through a bit of still a very brief, it's like 20 minutes. Last month we did a webinar and we unpacked, Carissa, if you're there, we unpacked Carissa's signature program. What was it? It was in like 15 minutes or something, right? And we literally had every single week of her signature program, like what it was going to be, what it felt like. Yeah, even less. It honestly was. It was like 10 minutes. And she was like, yeah, crap, like, you know, because it's so easy, right? And so Kathy, Kathy, at some point we should do that, and we'll create you a beautiful signature program, make a bit more sense. Amazing. Yes, it would be my pleasure to offer you that. Do it, Kathy. Yeah. Yeah, and it just gets it really clear. And obviously, Robert, you are always welcome to whatever wisdom if you're around. Let's chat. All of the Ivies. Sure. So this is B. So client B, she had a lot of limiting beliefs sort of in herself, and she was like, I don't know that I can do this, or maybe I'm not smart enough, or like, why me? Kind of the imposter syndrome kind of stuff, was coming up for her, quite a bit. And we were clunking that kind of 15K like bracket. That was her income ceiling, 15K a month, clunking along. And so we, created her an MRR program, which was amazing, because she was signing up about 50 to 60 people in at her signature program level. And then when we transformed and added the MRR program level in under 6 weeks, she made 1,000, I was about to say 100, I can't read numbers today, $124,000 above that, which was just amazing. Is that mine? That's so weird. No, yeah, that's me. I don't know what's ringing. Who's ringing? What does that sound? Can you guys hear that sound? Yes, no, that's fine. Whoop. Pressing buttons, share. Hang on, everyone. I clicked off the screen because I'm a special kind of a human. Let me just stop share for a second. Hello, and let me start share again. My computer's ringing, which is so weird. I don't know why it's ringing. So one of my apps or something must be ringing. How odd. So that's client B, literally, going from, total imposter syndrome, thinking I can't do this, or this isn't going to work for me, or all of those different things. Oh, it was mine. Yeah, so weird. And it's doing it again. That's fine. Yeah. And then in under 6 weeks, like she literally made $100,000 plus, which was awesome. Why is that still doing that? That is so weird. Do it, Kathy. Yay. Cool. Hashtag impact. Thank you. Yeah. Can you guys hear the ringing though as well? It's like a little bird making some amazing sound. I do not know what to do with that. We're just going to keep going. So on the home stretch, all right. Diagnostics. I want to, why we're going to skip MRR today again, because it's quite easy. I'm offering anyone who wants to unpack their signature program or MRR, and you're more than welcome to do that with me at some point in time. But I want you guys to kind of leave today with a bit of an understanding, or a feel into where you and your business is at right now. And it's never a judgment piece. It's actually just a roadmap. I want to give you guys a bit of a roadmap, so that you can go, okay, cool. Like, here are some things that I'm acing, or I'm transforming my business or something like that. And so let me just click something here and then see if I can close that there, and that might hopefully stop the meeting. So that you can basically have that pulse check on where you and your business is at right now. All right. Now we're going to use 2 different diagnostic tools. Okay. So this is the first one. This is actually the Empire model. This is actually a part of my program, the Solar Aligned Empire, that I was telling you guys about before, the Power for Good in the World. Now, as you can see, look, this is very busy. I get that. All you need to pay attention to. No, I won't say that. What we did today when I was talking to you guys about the mistakes that I see within the business, as you can see on that red circle where it says your business, within the Solar Aligned Empire, we look at 3 things: you, your business, the tribe; you, your business, the tribe. All right. So the you portions are things like your mindset. Where is your thinking at? Your patterns. How are you showing up? What's your frequency? Like, are you falling out of love with what you're doing? Like, where's your life force energy? Or are you hitting that income ceiling, the time ceiling, energy ceiling? So you're really like burnt out and stuff like that. That would be life force. We then look at things like your business. And your business was those mistakes we were looking at before. So what we see is that there aren't any systems, or the business model, isn't one that actually is going to help you scale and grow long term. All right. So there could be a systems error. There could be a support error, that we need to bring you in like a VA or, something along those lines that's going to help take a portion of what it is that you're up to, off your hands. And give you, that bit of support with what it is you're doing. So you're not burning the candle at both ends, as they say. And then also, the strategies. All right. Are you utilizing some kind of lead generation strategy that's filtering people through the next most logical step, and moving them down into that MRR level, which, as we learned about, is, client lifetime value. It is stackable wealth, how we turn, $1,000 client into a $10,000 client, or a $5,000 client into a $25,000 client, across something like a year. All righty. And then we look at your tribe, and your tribe is obviously, as we said, we work with integrity. We want to make sure that, we are serving people, we're coaches. So therefore it is about transformation, getting them radical results, helping them, take aligned action. And also we're really, I make sure we put a focus on self-leadership, or making sure our clients are self-responsible, right? Creating independence, not dependence. All right. I want, people to be able to take what they've learned and go out there and implement it. And so in your handouts, you've actually got a version of this. It's called the the Empire wheel. So can you see that in your worksheets? Has anyone printed their worksheets today? Have you got them printed? If you've got them printed, what you can actually do with the Empire Wheel is you just color each section. So it'll say mindset, which is about you, okay? And in that Empire Wheel, you can color how you feel you're faring on something like mindset. Awesome. I don't have you printed. So you just kind of color it in, and you might be like, take into consideration things like money mindset, or like, am I a bit resentful at the moment? Something's not going so well in my business, or, or no, I'm feeling really good. Things are flowing. My mindset is on track. My frequency is good. And so what you do is you color out from the center out to, there's about 10 segments. And you can say, I feel like I'm about a 5 out of 10 at the moment, or I'm a, 8 out of 10 mindset on track. All right. And then you can look at frequency and do the same and go, yep, frequency, I'm a bit burnt out, and I'm a little bit snapping at my family and stuff like that. And I love them. And so I don't want them to be getting the worst of me, so I'm going to say I'm about a 5, I need to work on some things there, because maybe, how I'm showing up at work and then coming home tired is like affecting existence. That could also be life force. All right. So are you working in your business, 6.5 days a week and never actually just getting out to have some fun with your family or something like that, which is the stuff that lights you up? And the same then, obviously you move to your business. So you guys just color that in as, as we sit here. And I'd love to hear if there's anything that surprises anyone, because this is going to give you a bit of a diagnostic tool, as we said, of where you're faring at the moment. I don't have enough systems in place. I'm a 3, I'm the only person working in my business, so that could be zero colored in. All right. Strategies. You're like, I'm winging it. I'm really fucking winging it right now. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing or how I'm meant to be doing it, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to give myself a 4. Or you might be like, yes, I've got a plan. I'm working with some amazing people, we've got our focus and we're in line, and all that kind of thing. So you can color that in. And then how are your clients going as well? All righty. Who's done that? Have you guys had a bit of a color? Quite obviously, I enjoy color. This is, my model, as I said, as part of our soul aligned empire. This is the empire model. I'm going to show you another diagnostic tool that we just implemented recently that I love as well, that really helps, solidify some of that stuff we were talking about before, the kind of 6 figures, to multi 6 figures to 7 figures. What does that look like? All right. So give me some thumbs up or a hashtag impact if you've had a bit of a color in. Or if you haven't and you'd like me to move on, either way. Awesome. Any surprises, anyone on there? We're like, nah, Cool. Cool. Everyone's very quiet. Must be coloring in. We'll just sit here a little. No, it's fine. So this is, let me click something. The other tool. Now I want you to take a photo of this. When it comes to me, I'm shy. Yes, okay. Is that a surprise? Is that a surprise at all, Kathy? We'll pause. Nobody pay attention to this screen. Is that a surprise, or you're like, yeah, no, like I'm renowned for not looking after myself. Yeah, okay, yeah. And that's the thing. Like again, let me just go like previous for 1 second. Thanks for sharing, because honestly, this is why we look at these 3 things and see how it's you, the business, the tribe, you, the business, the tribe, and these 3 things are even. All right, that we want to make sure that you're feeling lit up, that you're looked after, that you're in your greatest excitement, joy, fun, play, pleasure, passion, that we're looking at any patterns or behaviors, habits, thinking that's showing up that could be tripping you up, like imposter syndrome or money mindsets and things like that, right? Like you are an important piece, and so is then the business. All right, and the business gets to be its own entity. And sometimes what happens, and then obviously your clients are another piece. And so we look at all of those 3 pieces separately, because often what happens is like you become a martyr to the business, right? And so you're like, sacrificing, there are no boundaries, like you're time poor, exhausted, like all of those sorts of things. We've all been there, right? We, like lack of boundaries, all the different stuff, right? The business takes a bit of a back step as well, or we actually take, we're not taking the business information as data. What can happen is we're like, oh my God, that's a stab to my heart. Like, I can't even believe it that somebody would say something mean, or whatever. And it's like, no, it's just business. It's business information, right? Or what happens, as I said, we become a martyr to the tribe. Okay, where we're like, the business is falling off the wagon, it's not making money, we've become a martyr to the tribe, we're exhausted, and so the whole dynamic of this, the empire model, you, the business, the tribe, those 3 things have to be even. All righty, so we really put that focus in ensuring, like we said, that empire wheel that you've all just colored in, it shows you, it's a diagnostic tool, it shows you where thanks for going over this more. Yeah, good. I'm glad that sort of that helped. It shows you where those areas are that you're like, okay, like it's uneven. Like I'm 100%, or I'm level 10 for all of the tribe, but I'm fucking on level 0 for me. Because you're sacrificing yourself to the tribe, and the business is probably taking a backseat as well, and maybe not making the money it should be making because you're fucking exhausted, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so we keep bringing these things back into balance. These 3, you, the business tribe, you, the business tribe. Impact, as he says, had a huge impact on my tribe. Exactly. Yeah, true that. Awesome. I'm glad that that was beneficial. So this is another diagnostic tool. I feel like Kathy is winning hashtag impacts today. She is planting 75 trees all on her own. So this is the Empire Scale. All right. Now this one's a little bit more like probably involved, I would say. I don't need you to do anything with this right now. You can take a little bit of a photo or something. Go take a photo. All right. You'll probably get some like in between where I was like closing my eyes. So this is a bit of a scale, all right, that shows you at different financial levels, the different things that we should kind of be paying attention to, streamlining, as we were talking about before, getting those systems in place. And as you can see, this again aligns with the business portion of our empire model, the systems, the support, the strategies, and scalability of your business as well. All right, so we've got those columns as we've been talking about today. So this is very much the businessy stuff, all right, not necessarily the you stuff. There's a bit of support and things in there. So you can see the different levels. And if you just have at a glance, we're not going to do anything with this today, but at a glance, you might be like, okay, cool. I am like super new. I'm not, I'm at 10 to 20K or something along those lines. How do I scale this up, amp it up without having to give more of my time and energy and know-how? What does that look like? What are the scalability pieces? What are the strategies? What kind of support should I be looking at this next level of my business? And it gives you that bit of a guide. And you might see that across the board, you might be like, yep, I'm actually like, for me on this one, I was looking at I was collating some other information when we were building this out, and 70K plus months, 70K to 100K plus months. One of the scalability strategies that often goes into place at that level is having some kind of book or something like that, because it really elevates your perceived expertise out there in the marketplace. Now, I had books, you know, at under 20K. Like, you know, I think, you know, first one was probably under 10K for, you know, it could have been under 10K. The second one was under 20K. And so when I looked at this greater scale and I was like, okay, well, 70K to 100K, I could highlight and say, look, there's actually already a strategy, you know, that I've been utilizing, you know, at a different level, which is perfectly fine. All right. That's the idea, you know. Kathy, like we were talking about with you, we're giving you like sort of 20 to 40K strategies, right? As you're getting your business sort of set up and started, as you're making that transition. So there are going to be some things in there at different levels that you're able to highlight and say, yep, we're implementing this, this, and this. Robert, you know, same for you. Wisdom, I imagine, you know, depending on your business at the moment as well, like, and people watching back, okay, you'll see that you'll have some of this stuff in play. All right. And it might show you, again, as a diagnostic tool, other little areas that you might want to amplify and start to look at a little bit more, because you're like, fuck, I don't have an MRR program, or I haven't raised my prices in ages, or I probably, you know, I need to get another coach within my community because, you know, it's becoming too much, or whatever it might be. All right. And again, that can be something that we discuss. So this is client T. Client T, you know, was also like busy. You know, time was probably her biggest you know, a challenge to overcome, you know. And so we did a bit of a diagnostic with her, you know, because we were like, okay, well, let's actually, you know, have a really good look at where the business is now, because also her perception was like, you know, she's just like, I feel like I'm failing, mostly because she was stressed out and burnt out a little bit, you know. But when we actually sat down and put the diagnostic tools in place, we were like, oh my God, like you've got the systems, you've got like the strategies, you're doing it and stuff like that. But what we can see is you don't have the support. And so right now you're doing all of it, you know, which is getting very exhausting for you. But the health of your business, you know, on paper looks pretty good, right? But, you know, like you're stressed and burnt out, we need to bring in some support. And it was only through, you know, jumping on the phone and doing, you know, having a bit of a game plan call, coming up with, you know, some strategies for her and seeing where those, you know, where those missing pieces were. We were like, okay, we need to get you some support. And then we, you know, we triage that support. Triage seems to be the word of today. And sort of said, okay, well, what support? What does that look like? What do we need to hand across right now that's not serving you? All right. And so with client T, after we sort of, you know, did the diagnostic, you know, came up with a plan, you know, after chatting on the phone, she achieved all projected yearly goals in under 5 months, and we had to recreate new goals. Because it was like, oh, fuck, like, you know, what we thought she was going to be able to do in a year, which was already like a stretch goal. She was like, oh my God, if I had this in a year, like, you know, amazing kind of thing, and listed off all the things, we did that in 5 months. All righty. So it's pretty awesome stuff, you know, when you're doing the business piece. So look, I want to introduce you guys to Sarah. And Sarah is actually works in my business with our clients. She is amazing. Most of our clients, you know, are supported, you know, within our community. You know, we have some clients who are getting a 300 to 600% increase in their business through working with Sarah. Yes. Thank you, gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Get out of town. Oh yeah, Kathy, you spoke to her recently. Yes, I think you're speaking to her again. You know, yeah. So she's our business growth and impact specialist. And so we were chatting the other day, and you know, we want to make sure everyone was offered a bit of a chat like pre this event. You know, and I know many of you took that up, and we wanted to make sure that, you know, one, we were tailoring obviously what we're talking about today for, you know, where you're at and what you need and that kind of thing. But I want to make sure that off the back of today as well, because we've given you a lot of information, I want to make sure that you're supported off the back of today also. And so Sarah and I chatted, and we want to invite everyone to what we call a game plan call, like we were just saying with client T and actually B and Z as well. Who we sat down, came up with the strategy, did a bit of a diagnostic of where things were at, made the plan, and when they actually then stuck to the plan, things like retiring their partner, last February, making $300,000 in the financial year, making $100,000 plus, within a 6-week period of time. These are all real results, you guys. 5 months, having all projected yearly goals met. All right. And it literally started with, jumping on the phone, coming up with a bit of a game plan. As I said as well, as a bit of a kicker to that, I want to offer anybody, who jumps on and chats with Sarah. I'm also happy to speak to you about your signature programs and your MRR programs. That's very much in my wheelhouse, and so I'd be happy to, to offer that as well. And so when you jump on the phone with Sarah, you're just going to simply discuss your personal pathway to success, create a customized strategy or, plan to be able to move you forward. And then obviously how best to monetize everything, with like your event strategy or your group strategy or your membership strategy or your referral strategy or whatever we're using at the top there, or a mixture of moving you through to a signature program. And then obviously, helping to drop people down into some kind of MRR. All righty. So look, this is the 7-figure strategy that we've been talking about today. All right. This is the success model. And it's been so amazing, taking you guys through it and being able to build it out in real time so that you can start seeing, where those maybe gaps are or different ways that like maybe this was never in your vision before, you've never had the language, the vernacular around it to create something like this, but now you do, which is super exciting because you're literally like taking, what the big, multi-8, 7-figure, coaches are actually using to build out their amazing empires as well. So whatever your figure is, got the brain ticking. Excellent. Good. That's what we like to hear. So whatever your figure is or wherever you're at the moment, as you're scaling and growing, this is what's going to get you there. Wherever there is for you, this is what gets us from 20K months, to 50K months and beyond. All right. So I'm just going to ask you again, what would $1 million year look like to you? What would a $500,000 year look like to you? All right, what's your next level that you're trying to, get to? And what if you could get there, by utilizing the strategies that we've taught you today, taking all of that know-how and, being able to get out there and get it done even faster? How awesome would that be? And what would that actually mean to you and your family's lives? What does that look like? If you could wave the magic wand, what would you get, 1 year from now? All right. So look, as I said, if you want help and support, please just reach out to us like in Messenger. Go straight to my Messenger is no problem. I just hang out there. Let me know. Yes, #impact. Give me some more #impact so we can count up the trees that we have planted today. I'll give you that figure in a sec. Let's discuss your personal pathway to success, create you a customized strategy and plan, and then obviously how best to monetize that as well. All righty. Any questions? And also, I'd love to hear any takeaways as well. So I'm gonna unmute you, and you guys can just. I'm going to invite you to unmute if you like, and you can let me know what is your biggest takeaway from today. Who wants to go? You can type it in or you can say it out loud if you're there. What was your biggest takeaway from today? Carissa. Yeah. I don't like snake print. Fair. That is a big takeaway. Are you unmuted, Carissa? You can say that out loud. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you are as well, Robert. Robert, what did you say? Impact, great timing for where I'm at the moment. Yeah, awesome on this new gym growth. Yeah, perfect. I'm so glad. I always find these divine timing, and divine order. So these things come around, they're in our vision for a particular reason. And so I'm so glad that you can take something from today, Robert, and just get the juices bubbling over. Having a strategy and a plan. Yes. Coaching is one toolkit, business is another. All right. And so, yeah, getting yourself a strategy, a plan, and maybe some support, as we know, to help you move forward, with those pieces that maybe you're a little bit unsure of right now. That's perfect. All right. I'm no longer scared of the future. Yay. That's amazing. That's such a good one. Right. I think sometimes when we don't have a plan or we can't see the picture, like it's all uncertainty. And when we're in a bit of uncertainty, like that can feel really uncomfortable. So when we're like, oh my God, I can actually see the plan now and the strategy is there, right? We feel a lot more certainty, and that feels, a lot better overall, definitely. So that's a really good one too. Awesome. I can see that there's another one. Let me see. What did you say? MRR is the next step. No more hustling. Exactly, for like $50 a week clients. I reckon. How do you turn a $50 a week client into $1,000 a month client and lock them in for 12 months? Not to be a dick, but to support them on a longer scale journey and get them what they need.
I'm not sure I understand.
Thank you, Siri. I don't know. Siri doesn't get it, so we're going to have to. Wow. I must have been leaning into my watch. That's quite funny. Awesome. Monetizing my worth and value in coaching. Definitely. I love that. Awesome, everybody. Well, look, that's kind of it. If you don't have any more questions, they are amazing takeaways. I'm so glad to have been here with you today. I hope that you got a lot from this. It sounds like you did. And if you're, watching this back, I hope you did as well. And as I said, like if you're wanting help with the strategy, the systems and the support, to move you from wherever it is that you're at right now to your next greatest, income level, obviously reach out. Tell me how many trees, actual ivy, impact, #impact. How many trees have we planted today? How many trees have we planted today? 33. Awesome. Oh, we didn't beat the last one. We literally got 75 last time. I was like, that's a very round figure. How interesting. So 33, which I said I would double. So we're going to plant 66 trees just for you guys being amazing humans and being here with us today and participating and getting all your #impacts in there. So we're going to do 66 trees, which is very exciting. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for helping contribute to our global philanthropy projects. Super excited to obviously connecting with you all soon, and you know where to find me. Just reach out, #impact. Love you and your energy. Get out of town, and I'm sure I'll see you all show up in Messenger. So much love. Bye. Love you. I know. See, yes, you're welcome. Sit here awkwardly as I find the buttons.